I love being a dad, and particularly about my son, right? Because a few years ago, during like the whole lockdown overcorrection nonsense, right? Doesn't matter what side you're on. That was a little bit extreme, right? And we found out at the time, our son, he was 2.5 years old. He got diagnosed with autism, right? But don't worry, guys. It's not all doom and gloom. It's not like we found out he was a vegan or something crazy. Like, I remember when the doctor was like, your son's autistic, Mr. Wren, right? I'm like, can he eat bacon, though? And he's like, do you even know what autism is? Clearly, your son gets his intelligence from his mother. I'm like, okay, but he can have bacon. He's like, you need to leave, sir. And it's wild, too, because not only was he autistic, he was nonverbal autistic, right? I know that lockdown was something else for a lot of people, but for us, it was a little bit of a mixed blessing. Because if we didn't have those 24, 25 months, me, my wife, and my son would have never had that time to learn American Sign Language to help him communicate, right? Most people applaud, but you guys are assholes. That's okay. Just a dad trying to learn a whole other form of communication. But apparently in this small town, that's not enough. Oh guys, you guys are good. I'm teasing you. It's good. But like again, legit, it was a silver lining, right? But my son though, it was amazing. Like he was actually able to say one word during that entire time. He was able to say shirt. He would look up at me and go, shirt. And he wanted me to take my shirt off and put it on him. And I don't care who you are. There is nothing more adorable than a toddler in a grown man's t-shirt, right? So I'm like, buddy, of course you're gonna get my shirt. I'm all excited and I take it off, but I put it on him too quick and he falls over, hits his head. I'm like, oh, upsy daisy, don't tell mommy how bad of a dad I am. Wait a minute, you don't speak. You're not gonna fucking tell her shit. That's okay. You're also not gonna tell mommy. Dad had those 4 Ryan Cokes before 2 p.m. on a Wednesday. Because you're a good time, right? And legit, my son looked up at me, put his fist out to make a fist bump, and we connected, and he went boom. I'm like, whoa, this kid has my back, right? And here's the thing, I didn't like the fact that my son was learning American Sign Language. I don't know if Canadian Sign Language is the thing. I was like, man, we're gonna try it out. Like, if he's gonna learn this, he's gonna do the Canadian version of sign language, right? A lot of you people don't know what American Sign Language is. That's okay. Let me introduce you to Canadian Sign Language. It's 2021. It's around April. The Toronto Maple Leafs are losing for the 14th fucking time in the playoffs. And I'm looking at that TV and I'm about to have a meltdown. And I see my son, he's looking at me, he's getting upset because I'm upset. I'm like, man, I can't be this guy, right? He's more important than some sport. If I keep yelling at the TV, they might win. Or be a dad. And I know right now the decision today is very easy, but at that moment, it was really fucking difficult. But I chose my son over the Leafs. I was like, buddy. I'm looking at the TV and I'm looking at him, and I Canadian Sign Language to him. I said, Daddy's sorry, but these leaves fucking suck. And I kid you not, my son looked back at me, started nodding his head. 3 years on this planet, he knew how bad those Leafs were. And he Canadian Sign Language back to me. He went, Daddy, it's okay. Do you need a cold beer? And he went to the fridge and got me a bottle of Molson Canadian. That was the first time and I was like, the Leafs are awful, but my boy's gonna be okay, you know? And it's amazing because like we had to start telling people about his diagnosis because we didn't want it to be awkward for them, not for us, right? It's no big deal for us. I know some of my friends and acquaintances and family, they thought it was some type of burden, you know? Like, oh, it must be tough to have a special needs child in your life. I'm here to tell you, everybody who has autism, it's entirely different for them, right? I can't speak for anyone else, but I can speak for me. If I could do it over again and have a neurotypical child, I wouldn't do it. I'm a better human for it. I wish I had a good joke, but my son is the missing piece that makes me whole, right? But everyone, they mean well, right? So they want to offer some type of condolence or like, what should we do? And it's okay, I get it. But everyone, I guess, just goes to Netflix. And they're like, I heard Jacob's autistic, don't worry, we're in the neighborhood. We were watching Netflix, and I guess, did you know there's a show about a guy who can solve a Rubik's Cube in record timing? He's autistic, so here's a Rubik's Cube, he'll enjoy that. I know they mean well, I'm like, thank you very much. It's literally, I have 12 Rubik's Cubes in my house. It got to a point where I would take these Rubik's Cubes and just toss them into our closet in our hallway, right? And my brother, we're very close, he's super close to my son. He came by last week and he's like, hey, listen, I know you're gonna be upset with me. I know how you feel about Rubik's Cubes, but I brought Jacob a Rubik's Cube. And I'm like, why would you do that? He's like, no, I know how you feel, okay? Not every kid who has autism is some type of super genius. But have you looked in that closet? I was here last week, Greg. I put my shoes in there. Go look. And I'm like, what? And I go to the hallway closet and I open the door. And I kid you not, all 12 of those Rubik's Cubes are solved. And I felt horrible. I've been throwing them away because here's the thing, I'm doing comedy when I go home tonight. My son, he's going to be asleep on the side of our baby gate so he doesn't come downstairs. We sleep on the second floor because every time I'm gone, he wakes up, he wants to sleep in my bed. I'm not there, he falls asleep right in front of me. He's been getting up, getting over that gate, getting down to the closet, solving the Rubik's Cube, shutting the door, going back to the baby gate and falling asleep. And I'm like, I am an awful dad. And I told my brother this, and he's like, hey, take it easy, man. I'm just fucking with you. I was here last week, I solved them all. And that's when we found out my brother was autistic, okay? But here's the thing though, right? I told you he could say sure, right? And every time I speak to my son, I always speak to him like he fully understands what's going on, because he does. He just can't articulate back. Like we're in the Walmart, we're getting some toys, which is awesome, because I was born in the 80s, so all the cool toys that I grew up with, He-Man, Ninja Turtles, Transformers, they're making a comeback. So it's like the greatest thing, right? Like, buddy, you want that Ninja Turtle? Put it in the cart, let's go. And I gotta listen to the shuffling of his feet, right? And I hear his feet stop shuffling. So I turn around, I'm like, what's going on, Jacob? And I can see he has some concern in his eyes. I look down, I'm like, what's going on? And he looks up at me, and he says, Daddy. And until that point, he had never called me anything but shirt. And I'm blown away, because I didn't even know that was on my radar, that he would say my name. And he wasn't done. He said, Daddy, shirt, please. And he signed the word please. He called me Daddy for the first time. He said his first ever sentence. And I didn't care that I was in that Northbury Walmart. My son was getting my fucking shirt. So I'm like, of course, buddy, I take off my shirt, but I did it too quickly. And down it goes. I'm like, oh, buddy, I'm so sorry. And he looks up at me under the shirt and goes, help, help. I'm like, did you just say help? We gotta tell your mom. And I scoop him up and I run out of that Walmart, not realizing from every other person's perspective, a half-naked man just ran out of Walmart with a bundled up toddler screaming for help. Guys, I don't know what was more moving, hearing my son call me Daddy for the first time, or when the police gave him back to me in that Walmart parking lot. Are you guys ready for your headliner or what?